Before we get started, I'll give a couple housekeeping items. My name is Ashley Burden. And so we'll be having our town hall today, just kind of a really informal panel style discussion, chatting about some updates from Coterie, obviously taking in some feedback from our audience. So throughout the discussion today, feel free to enter any questions or feedback that you might have in the chat. We'll be able to monitor that. You can also use the Q&A feature as well to enter any questions, and we'll do our best to either get those answered live for you, or if we follow up with you, someone from our team will reach out to you. So definitely feel free to engage with our team, and we're excited to have so many join us today. Cool. So we will go ahead and kick it off. Again, my name is Ashley Burden. I'm the marketing manager here at Coterie. And so again, I want to thank all of our audience for attending. We have so many amazing agents, partners, contacts that have been really responsive to feedback, and excited to have you all join today's town hall, where again, you'll hear from our leaders. We'll start with our CEO, David McFarland. We'll also have our Chief Financial Officer, Marc Frenkel, and as well as our Chief Growth Officer, Bobbie Collies. So with that, we'll kick it off. I'll hand it over to David just to get started, kind of do some introductions and really speak to our audience. Go ahead, David.
Thanks, Ashley. Appreciate it. So what I wanted to do is first say thank you to every one of you on the distribution side. We built Coterie as a business that was focused on really solving the problem for partnerships, right? There's this massive problem in the small commercial space, 30+ million small businesses, with almost half of them not getting the insurance they need. And largely that's because it did not make the distribution partners, agents, brokers, any money. And we really came in and just changed the whole quoting to buying dynamic and reduced that time by over 98%, made it easy for you to where just with name and business address, you can get your policyholders what they need. And we came in, that was really what we aimed to do, set out, bring that speed, simplicity, and service to the small commercial space. We did that pretty well, but there are three components to really making this work for everyone involved. The first was really the disruption, if you want to call it that, of the application process, bringing that quote to bind truly in minutes or seconds sometimes, right? And then the other component, the other leg in the stool, if you call it, is the underwriting component, making sure that we can do that profitably. And I believe we've done those two really, really well. We continue to improve the quote to bind process. We have good loss ratios, and a lot of that is not just because of the underwriting we're doing, but because of the good business that you all are bringing us. And the third component is servicing. And everyone at Coterie right now is focused on the servicing component, from our product managers and engineers to the frontline people on the claims and policy servicing side. Everyone is very focused on the servicing. And when we set out this year, we had pretty aggressive goals in terms of growth, loss ratio, servicing, automation, all that. But thanks to the success that we've had on the partnership side, what you guys are bringing to us, our growth has certainly outpaced our automation plans, which is a great problem to have. I mean, we're thankful for it. But just know that we're very cognizant of that, and we are continuing to double down our efforts to improve servicing. But frankly, we set out aggressive goals in terms of growth, and we're exceeding them. And again, great problem to have. We're very thankful for that. Thankful for our partners, but it went higher than we expected, so we're having to fix that on the back end and making sure that we can improve the servicing. But that is the main goal of this year, is really just in servicing the growth, the immense growth, the great growth that we're getting in from you, our partners. And so with that, I wanted to turn it over to Marc, who's going to get a little bit more in what we're doing here at Coterie, and a little bit of focus on the capacity and other sides of that.
Sure. Hey, thanks, David. Well, nice to meet everyone. And again, thank you for being our partners and working with us. It means a ton to us. And look, we're an insurance company. We're also a technology company. I guess the modern parlance for that is we're an insurtech. And it's an interesting time for insurtechs. 3 years ago, if you were able to have some business model that writes $1 a premium, hey, that was good enough. Times have changed. If if you're looking at the capital markets, public markets, and I won't name names, but there are a bunch of insurtechs that have gone public. It's not been the best of times for our industry. And if I'm in your shoes, I'm probably wondering, what's Coterie doing differently? How is Coterie trying to pull away from the pack and buck that trend? And whether you are asking that question or not, I think you deserve the answer, because we indeed are trying to build something different. Coterie was built to solve a real problem, and that was to provide insurance to customers who otherwise did not have ready access to insurance. And in doing so, we encountered a really great opportunity. There's not a ton of competition. It allows us to underwrite responsibly and profitably, most importantly, and that differentiates us from a lot of the insurtechs that we are often compared to. We, unlike others who, again, you may come across in public markets, we're writing to better than market loss ratios for the products that you are selling on our behalf. And as a result of that, our business model benefits tremendously. We get great economics from the carriers that write our business. Again, this is profitable premium for them, and they want it. And to be frank, they bid over and above each other for that business. And that allows us, again, because we benefit from strong loss ratios, to generate a strong financial profile. And as David pointed out, we're investing tremendously in policyholder agent servicing, which will allow us to achieve economies of scale as we grow, which means that our expense ratio as a business will shrink as we grow the premium base. And these are all things that we're doing that are, I think, that Bobbie, David, and I think fundamental to building a proper insurance company, an insurance technology company. And I can tell you, we're in the market all day. The reception we get from investors is very positive because of everything that I just said. Again, we are building a responsible company built to last on a foundation that is solving real problems. And in closing, we intend to be around for a long time and providing the service to you for a long time. And we look forward to that. So thank you. I will pass the baton to Bobbie.
Thanks, Marc. I'll just reiterate the thank yous from David and Marc. I have a true affinity to the independent agency channel. I've been working with independent agents ever since I was a rookie underwriter at the desk for an insurance company that only wrote small BOPs. So it's fun to be in this role now. I think what's cool about the company that we built too, and particularly the distribution team, is majority of our distribution leaders actually have underwriting experience. So when we talk about responsible growth, that's not only coming from our insurance team, but it's also coming from our sales team, and which is a very unique position to have, especially as an insurtech startup. Some of the more tactical, cool investments that we've made in servicing, you may have recently noticed we just rolled out Appetite Checker again. So really, basically, with your feedback, really trying to figure out before you even start a quote if a risk qualifies for Coterie. So if you haven't used that yet and you want to, it's there. I would also encourage you to use it before you call or chat with our servicing team, so our servicing team can really focus on all of the transactions that really need human intervention. If you still can't find it once you're an Appetite Checker, by all means, please use our chat or dial us up and we will be able to answer your questions. Secondarily, we've started to roll out, I would say, our first iteration of self-service options. So some billing center options, certificates of insurance generation. I saw some questions on that in the chat. I think someone on our team will actually get back to you with details as we're talking. Cancellation of policy change forms. So this is really like our V1 of all of these self-service options. We'll continue to iterate on these experiences and make them even better over time, as well as add additional experiences for self-service. The unit economics around the policies that we're selling are, as you all know, the margin is very thin. So the self-service not only helps us remain competitive and profitable for you, but also gives you the opportunity to make a buck off of the small business policies you're selling. Lastly, we recently rolled out some, I would say, more of a fun feature with co-branded quote proposals based on agency feedback. I know sometimes it's tough for a policyholder to understand who they should go to with questions. Sometimes they say the agent, sometimes they say the servicing carrier on the policy. So this actually gives us an opportunity to co-brand our proposals with you. Ashley's going to drop just some directions and some, I think a video maybe, or a demo on how you can actually sign up for co-branded quote proposals into the chat. So if you guys are interested in that, please follow that link. As far as like higher level insurance underwriting roadmap, right now we're kind of in the midst of a core system upgrade, which will allow us to do some fun enhancements to our current BOP and GL policies, which you should see in the latter half of this year. We're also getting ourselves set up to release a true CGL, hopefully later this year or early next year. And then beyond that, we're actually having an internal debate and strategy discussions around what's next. So do we go E&S? Do we go down the path of developing auto work comp product to supplement our current product suite? That's all up for debate. So if you have some feedback or thoughts on that, we welcome it. Feel free to drop it in the chat, or contact one of us directly if you want to have. There's a poll. If you want to have a conversation about what's next. But we're really kind of working through the pros and cons of the multiple paths we could take after we get into next year. Very tactically, if you are in the southeast corner of our country, we did just roll out some new coastal wind hail underwriting requirements. Really in that southeast corner, we're not writing any property coverage within 25 miles of the coast. And then we've also implemented a wind hail deductible that's mandatory in Florida. I'm sure that's no surprise to all of you as we continue to see weather be a little bit more erratic and unpredictable, as well as some additional cat losses in the market. I just saw a note, commercial lines auto. It's almost impossible for us to find capacity for commercial lines auto, but we are exploring some potential partnerships where we could maybe get you guys some access to a commercial lines auto market while you're in the Coterie experience. So we're in very early like proof of concept testing phases there, but that's something that we're trying to figure out how to solve for. If you do need a commercial lines auto market, hopefully we'll be able to help you with that in the future. Awesome. Super quick update from this team because we wanted to leave time for questions. So Ashley, I turn it back over to you to kind of moderate the rest of the session.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks, Bobbie. I think some of the questions that have come in already about like our COI and our self-service tools, those have either been answered in the chat, but we can obviously also talk through those a little bit more in depth. And it sounds like based on our survey that many of our agents and partners are actually pretty pleased with our self-servicing tools. So just any additional feedback that any three of you would offer on that, anything that I know we talked a little bit about it, but in terms of servicing our kind of future state where we want to be, things like that you can speak to.
The only thing I'll speak on the servicing side is we've done a pretty good job of automating or enabling self-service for a number of the various interactions that we have with either policyholders or you, our partners. We want to continue to do that. We're automating both internal processes as well as what you guys would utilize for your policyholders. Some of this is going to be self-servicing. Some of it's you're just going to find it in dashboard or whatever it is, just making your life easier or making our response times faster. So you may not necessarily interact with some of these self-service or some of these tools immediately, but you should see it on the back end in terms of improving overall ease of doing business and speed to fulfilling these requests. And again, this is going to go on throughout the remainder of the year. And I mean, even it's next year, but the bulk of it is happening now and then throughout the remainder of the year. So we're pushing hard on all that.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks, David. Thanks for speaking to that. Another question that came in is regarding our professional liability or E&O line. So Bobbie, if you want to start with that, but certainly if anyone else wants to kind of speak to that, I know there have been some questions surrounding that. So professional liability line of business.
Yeah, this is a line of business that I do think that we need to put a little bit more time and attention to once our resources allow. I think there are some limitations that you guys are probably running into as far as just the coverages offered, as well as our appetite So over time, again, when I talked about enhancements to our current product lineup, anything in the professional liability, enhancement queue will be kind of vetted against all the other BOP and GL enhancements that we want to make and then prioritize accordingly. So again, any feedback you guys have there on what you would like to see enhanced in PL and E&O, please send that our way so that can help kind of feed our decision-making process around it.
I just want to echo the last part of what Bobbie said. Like a lot of insurance companies like talk about their end customer being the policyholder. And well, yes, we are absolutely the policyholder is a end customer for us. We fulfill the promise to the policyholder. But we built this company to solve the problem of our distribution partners, right? Like, and everything we do is really geared around helping our agents or brokers to make their life really easy. Because we really feel like when we enable agents and brokers to do what they do best, it helps us and it helps the end policyholder. And so the way that we try to become a better company, a more valuable company, is to provide a lot of value to you. But we only know that if we talk to each other. So we take what you say in these messages and our interactions, we take it to heart. We talk to our product teams talk to you. We really care about what you have to say and your thoughts on these various things. So when we say, what's your thoughts on E&S versus workers' comp? Let us know. We can't do commercial auto right now because frankly, there's no capacity in the market for it. But these other things like umbrella for GL, BOP, that's something that we're considering. There's stuff on cyber, but the big products that we're looking at are the next ones are probably going to be either E&S or work comp. And then there will be some smaller things associated with it, revising some of the professional liability, E&O stuff, and those types of things. But I really appreciate your comments in the chat and just in general talking to our teams and helping them to figure out what is most valuable to you.
Yeah, great point, David. Thank you for covering that. And another question that actually just came in, do we need a rater to power the quote system? And so I think this is a great question because it really speaks to the partnerships and the way we've set up our distribution model. But the question in general is, do we need a rater to power the quote system? And if so, whom do you recommend? So maybe Bobbie, you could start with that one, but obviously I think we can have some insight there.
So our goal from a distribution standpoint is to be wherever our agents want us to be in order to find a quote. So can you use a rater to access Coterie? Yes, you have to. No. We have a direct connection through our dashboard. That experience is probably a little bit better than even through a rater. Because it is our direct experience and you get a bindable quote. There's not a bridging experience that you would see within a rating platform. However, if you wanted to use any rater, we are actually connected to, I think, every single one of them that's in the marketplace. If you find one we're not connected to, please let me know because that's something that my team would want to explore. But really, I think all of the raters have different features and functionality and are connected with different markets. So really it's just dependent on like how your agency operates and then also the markets that you want access to. I wouldn't necessarily recommend one over the other without understanding those two things. But if you want to have a conversation, Becky Monfrey on my team would be more than willing to sit with you and understand what your agency needs are, what markets you want access to, and then she could probably give some recommendations based on the partnerships we have.
Awesome. Thanks, Bobbie, for speaking to that. But yeah, love all of our integrated partners and we have really great relationships with all of them. So I'd love to hear if you have feedback in working with them and your access, if you're looking to gain access to Coterie through any of our platform partners. There is another question that came in and I think it's really kind of the gist of it is related to coastal restrictions. So, and I know this is something that's sort of a newer rollout that came out about a month ago or so. So, and I know we've talked already to capacity, but if there's anything additional that, anyone would add in terms of, changes with our underwriting or changes to coastal restrictions or anything like that, I think that would be great to address for our audience.
Go ahead. So the updates that we recently made are very new. So I saw that there was one that was recently written within a half a mile of the coastline. Enjoy your 1 year of coverage with Coterie. You'll probably end up getting a non-renewal notice unless our capacity changes for some reason. before the renewal comes up. But all of this is pretty new. We tried to get ahead of the hurricane season. You guys did see there's been a couple named storms already very early, so we're anticipating a pretty active season from a storm standpoint. So obviously not something that we want to do, but something that we have to do to protect our book, right, and our relationships with our carriers. So if you got one in before the underwriting guidelines got through, then congratulations.
Thanks for covering that, Bobbie. We do have one more poll that we're going to launch. I'll take a brief pause from the questions, launch this additional poll. And then while we're grabbing some feedback on these poll questions, another thing that we just wanted to mention is the best way for our agents and brokers and partners to stay up to date with Coterie. So obviously, we do have a bi-weekly newsletter that goes out. That's where you'll receive all of the updates, a lot of the ones that we've discussed already today. Then you can also follow Coterie on LinkedIn. We have a Facebook group actually for agents. So if you're interested in that, I will drop our marketing email in the chat and you can reach out. We'd love to have you join our Facebook group. And then just in general, attending events like this, definitely a great way to hear feedback, get your questions answered. And we really are a relationship-based company. So we love being able to have that interaction with you all and have you join events like this. So definitely appreciate all of the interaction and seeing the responses to the poll. There was another question that just came in. An update on being able to exclude wind on the Texas coast. I think it's more related to wind exclusion. So any any addressing of that here?
We are constantly reviewing our cat strategy. So I don't have a specific update for you on wind exclusions on the Texas coast, but something we're obviously always considering. Like I said, the most recent coastal guidelines are just nothing within 25 miles of the coast. So that's including Texas on the southeast corner of the country. And again, Diego, no commercial auto in the near future, but we're looking for different ways to solve that so you could have access to markets through some of our partnerships.
Awesome. Thanks, Bobbie. Definitely feel free to continue entering questions in the chat. And I know we have just about, we'll end in about 5 minutes or so, but I do see a question that just came in. How about excess lines? So any commentary on that?
Yeah, we're again, the two biggest new products that we would be looking to add to our product offerings are going to be E&S and which excess and surplus and workers' comp. We're still internally debating which ones to go after. Again, we want to bring the most value to our partners, distribution partners. And so let us know if you see one versus another. Commercial auto is not going to be on that panel, but E&S and workers' comp are the two big ones that we're evaluating.
Awesome. Thanks, David. A couple more things I wanted to mention more so on the marketing side of things with Coterie. We do have a few features that we've rolled out in the past, but we're enhancing. One of those is our Find an Agent page. So that is essentially our way of connecting, whether they're marketing leads or things like that that come in with an agent. Again, we don't market direct to consumers, so we want to offer the chance for all of you as our agents and our partners to be able to receive that business. So we do have our Find an Agent pages. We'll drop the link for that in the chat, but you can sign up for one of those. And what it essentially does is kind of creates like your own profile page with Coterie, and it directs anyone who might be interested in your area and getting a quote through Coterie back to you as the agent, and then they can reach out to you directly. So just another way that we're looking to partner with you all and really do what we can to work together to grow your book of business. So definitely something else that we wanted to mention. I do see another or maybe feedback or question about the need for a commercial umbrella or excess policy. So definitely appreciate that feedback coming in. That's, again, consistent with what we've heard across the market. With about 5 minutes left, I would love to just see if there's any additional commentary, anything else, any final thoughts maybe from Marc, David, or Bobbie that we want to leave with our audience, again, knowing that we've had such a great captive audience today.
And no major additional comments from me. Again, just want to say thank you to all of our distribution partners, everyone on the agent broker side who continue to help us grow. I mean, we built this company is to really add value to all of you, and you reciprocate that, but continuing to work with us and sell our policies. So we're extremely thankful that we're helping you all solve problems, and we want to continue that. And we want to do that through speed, simplicity, and service. And we're putting all of our efforts behind that right now. So thank you.
Thanks, David. Really appreciate that. And there's a couple more comments coming in that would keep the ball rolling on that. So one of the questions that came in is about payment methods, and I think this is one that we've heard before. So some of the clients prefer ACH. Is that something that we will be considering in the future? And Bobbie's nodding her head vigorously. So anything you want to add to that, Bobbie?
Yeah, I don't have an exact rollout date for you guys, so that's currently in development. So look for updates soon. Keep your eye on those newsletters. ACH will be rolled out very soon in the coming months.
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks, Bobbie. And that just speaks to, again, our desire to really act on the feedback that we receive from the field. So as we've already stated, definitely keep it coming. Reach out if you have your relationship owner with Coterie. Definitely reach out if you have any additional questions after this. This is being recorded, so we will send out the recording afterwards, but definitely appreciate such a captive and engaging audience today. It's been great to hear from our leaders. So thank you to David, Bobbie, Marc. Really appreciate having all three of you on. And it means a lot, I know immensely to our partners to hear from you directly. So thank you everyone for your time and have a great rest of the day. Thanks for joining us today.